Welcome to Sustainable Packaging with Cory Connors. I'm very excited about this guest, Mr. Sam Boex, who is the co-founder of Flexi Hex. This is a brand new product that I'm so excited about. Welcome, Sam. How are you, sir?
Very good. Thank you for inviting us on, Cory.
Oh, great. Thank you for taking some time. Like I said, this is a very innovative product. It's a very new product. Can you tell us a little bit about who invented it and when it was invented and all of that?
Yeah, sure. So Flexi Hex has been around for a couple of years basically. We developed the product back in 2018. Both myself and my twin brother, we have been in the design industry for sort of probably 15 years, running a product and interior design agency. And we're also both avid surfers and have been surfing for over 30 years. And the product, I suppose the seed and the embryo of the actual product was off the back of a poor experience buying a surfboard online, having sort of this box arriving, and when you opened up this box, just seeing the surfboard just covered in reams and reams and reams of bubble wrap, and I just kind of felt there must be kind of like a better consumer experience. It must, for a product which was, upwards of $800, and also all the issue around what we're going to do with that bubble wrap. So we basically put our heads together and thought, can we develop a packaging system for surfboards which is effectively going to create a better consumer experience, but also be more sustainable and made from kind of more sustainable materials. So I suppose we had this sort of exciting kind of and opportunity, and we realized there weren't many sort of packaging solutions for surfboards on the market. So we kind of put our heads together and really started as a fresh canvas to think, okay, how, like you do in any design, with design training, like designers approach subjects and projects, they sort of, what would you do, and how do you tackle something which hasn't been done before? So we started, looking at materials which would be appropriate for packaging surfboards, and our focus right at the beginning was 100% on developing a solution for surfboards. So we looked at hundreds of different materials, and we eventually happened upon this material, an existing material called honeycomb, paper honeycomb, which is made globally in huge scale, and your kind of listeners would have seen it in as a material to use to create solid board for kind of furniture and things like IKEA furniture or packaging, exhibition panels made indoors. But we received some of this honeycomb core, and when we received it, we just realized this is a very interesting material. It's super flexible. It sort of reacts in very strange and different ways. It's also 100% paper. Is there something we can do with this material that will enable it to kind of form around the surfboard to give this sort of shell-like protection to the surfboard? And so we started this project, which probably lasted around 6 to 8 months of developing what we now call is the Flexi Hex Sleeve, which is effectively an open-ended sleeve which literally expands open to reveal the honeycomb core, and you can see through the sleeve with the sort of the shape of the hexagons through it. And this sleeve kind of reacted brilliantly around and packaging this surfboard product. It just formed elegantly around the shape of the surfboard. And we kind of, I think, from when we made prototypes using just literally in the office by tearing out materials and gluing bits together. And as you say, the first time we put the sleeve over the surfboard was very much a eureka moment. We sort of both looked at each other, thought, this could have real potential in the market in surfboard, but also much wider applications as well. So that's how we probably started the product.
That's an amazing story. I had no idea. And that surfing was the impetus for this. This is really cool. That's not very common that you hear a story like that.
No, and I think it was So again, because it was a surfboard, surfboards are so unusual in their shape. They're sort of full of compound curves going one direction and another direction. Because of the unique nature of the surfboard, it actually, by putting the sort of work in to develop a product for surfboards, we quickly realized that we ultimately developed a hugely kind of versatile product which could be used in so many other applications. So it was kind of like, although incredibly challenging to sort of figure out, because obviously surfboards come in different shapes and sizes, but also different lengths. So how do you create one product? And again, that design level of thinking, we knew that this whatever product looked like had to be sort of affordable, kind of like super sort of adaptable, so it could fit a number of different sort of product shapes and sizes, and also kind of like commercially viable, like, it had to be sort of low volume and stored easily and things like that. So it sort of, we realized this product suddenly ticked, quite a few of these boxes. Yeah, that's how the product was born.
I think you're right, hitting the nail on the head there with being able to store it. It takes up about what, a tenth of the space of bubble wrap, or a 25th.
Yeah, what's the statistics? It's around sort of 2 pallets of Flexi Hex is equivalent of 10 pallets of bubble wrap. Wow. from a storage point of view. But also there's time saving as well with regards to kind of how quickly you can package. We know industries, we did lots of research and worked with companies to sort of develop and sort of refine the product as well. And packaging a surfboard can take upwards of 10 minutes, and we've taken that down to sort of 2 or 3 minutes, with using Flexi Hex. So yeah.
Is the surfboard sleeve the most popular Flexi Hex version?
So that's where we started, and that's where we very much were sort of like probably 6 to 8 months of the kind of start of the business journey and the sort of our adventure so far. But then we launched first sort of probably January 2018 with a surfboard. By the end of 2018, we had developed a series of products for the drinks and beverage industry. And again, we tackled it in the same way, looking at, I suppose to come back one step, we realized it had potential, the products, but we wanted to find industries which, we were getting some really good traction and sales in the surfboard industry. But we also wanted to kind of, I suppose, a product which we knew had issues in regards to kind of how it shipped and was a fragile product. So bottles and glass we knew were fragile. We were getting contacted by businesses who are having issues with their glass bottles. So yeah, we developed a series of smaller products specifically for, and probably spent then the next year refining and developing those bottle products, refining it very much into that specific kind of e-commerce space. That's creating, so for businesses or fulfillment companies to be able to use Flexi Hex kind of products, sleeves, to send out bottles quickly and efficient. And today, the drinks and beverage industry is probably around 80 to 90% of the revenue of the business. So it's a huge portion of our kind of business, and we've sold now over 2 million bottle sleeves, and we're gaining traction very rapidly. To give you, I suppose, understanding of kind of, I suppose, the scale we're going through. In the first 3 years of sales for the bottle products, we sold over 1 million sleeves, and in the last 3 months we've sold another 1 million. So yeah, we're now over 2 million. So wow. Kind of scaling quite quickly, and talking to some big brands.
Well, congratulations. It's such an innovative product. And I think that's how we connected. Was I did some TikTok videos where I would drop your packaging from different heights, and it survived all the way up to 6 feet, which was amazing. And that, I think if I started with some new fresh boxes, it would probably even go, but I dropped the same box over and over again. So my question to you is, do you recommend reusing Flexi Hex?
Yeah, a really good question. It's a question we get all the time. Ultimately, it's a paper product, and it's made with water-based glues. So it does have a lifespan, And eventually, like you found out, we watched those videos, they were brilliant. And if we package a bottle with a fresh, a new sleeve, we can confidently drop it, and we've got videos online at sort of 4.5 meters directly onto concrete, just in the sleeve itself, and it survives. But you'll see the sleeve, it kind of, it has taken the impact, and that's what will happen when it's within a box. Having said that, we've got companies who use our sleeves to sort of like resend products, or consumers, if they need to send bottles back, they'll reuse the sleeves. Equally, in the board sports industry, kind of promote and in that if you receive a surfboard in Flexi Hex, then you could potentially use those sleeves to say go on to use it inside a kind of a board bag if you're going on holiday, or if you wanted to return the board or send it on to something else. So we encourage people to kind of like strip back sleeves and put them back into their original state and store them for any other product really. And it's much it's a much lower volume than say another cardboard box, so you can store them kind of anywhere.
Oh, another great point. Yeah, reuse it, use it for travel. What a great idea. I didn't even think about traveling with a surfboard. That's got to be a challenge.
Well, it's a huge industry issue, and we actually sort of have quite a lot of sales of that. Again, the product is designed for packaging, but it does work. It gets you from A to B. Obviously, if you've got your one trip, sort of like you've saved up all year for your surf trip, you want to get it there in one piece, then yeah, it's a great addition to the board bag as well to make sure your board arrives in one piece.
That's an awesome thought. Would you say this product usually replaces polystyrene or styrofoam?
Yeah, I would say it's a replacement for polystyrene and also bubble wrap. Those are probably kind of like from a plastics point of view, what we're looking to replace. EPS polystyrene, obviously pre-molded kind of like components which go into boxes. We kind of like compete with that, and obviously they provide a huge level of protection, but they are obviously set to a certain size and a certain box configuration, whereas I suppose the USP of our product, the unique kind of like selling point of Flexi Hex is its adaptability and flexibility, in that it can sort of like you can use multiple different SKUs in different box sizes. So yeah, I'd say polystyrene and bubble wrap are the two sort of like direct replacements.
I'd be interested to do that comparison you did for bubble wrap with polystyrene single use or single bottle shipper. That would be interesting to see how much space that you guys would save going to Flexi Hex. Just space alone, just shipping, or warehouse space.
It's a really interesting one. We've got, give you sort of again, I suppose an example with obviously you have kind of EPS kind of fitments for boxes, but you also have kind of molded paper pulp fitments for bottles as well, which are a great viable alternative. But there's also volumetric issues with that and storing that product. We Flexi Hex kind of sleeves are, you can save upwards of sort of, I think a quarter of the volume of these molded pulp and EPS's solutions. So it's a huge saving, especially obviously from a warehousing point of view, but also if they're getting manufactured elsewhere, shipping prices are very high at the moment. So it's a big advantage to be able to obviously kind of maximize, firstly from a sustainability point of view, but also from a price point of view, be able to maximize the amount of product you can get into containers. And we can get around 180,000 bottle sleeves into one container, around 7,200 on a pallet. So yeah, it's great. It's a viable product to move around globally.
That's amazing. I did want to talk to you about your Rewilding Project. I looked on your website and saw that you guys are involved with a project called the Rewilding Project. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, we work with a company called Earth, and they're a great kind of organisation, and they work with, again, organisations within the UK and also Ireland around kind of rewilding and also reforesting, obviously, parts of the UK and Ireland. obviously, these areas like UK used to be kind of 80%, woodland basically, and as a nation. So that obviously there's a huge amount of land, and especially in Ireland as well, around again, and also sort of a push to rewild, and so we're supporting them where we can on that. It also sort of obviously helps with regards to kind of offsetting our carbon as well from the manufacturing of the product. So yeah, it's a good partnership.
So they're actually planting trees or peat moss or something like that in
yeah,
that
exactly
area?
yeah, planting native trees, kind of on large areas of land to effectively rewild those spaces and turn
That's great.
away from sort of agricultural land to
What a cool project. You hear a lot about beach cleanups and things like that, which are wonderful, but it seems like a lot of people are doing that. So I thought it was really cool that you guys were doing something different. Nice
and
job.
I think I think there's so many areas we want to look at as well as an organization. I suppose our focus was, and still remains a kind of a marine and sort of sea focus as well. But, obviously sustainability and from an environmental point of view, there's so many aspects we want to be able to tackle. And I think next we'll be also looking at projects, and how we can, regards to kind of, sustainability from a marine environment point of view, looking at, because things like seaweeds and things like that are huge kind of like carbon stores as well. And so
That's a great point. I've heard that from quite a few people about seaweed. I think they're talking about almost farming it in really increasing that volume for the planet will be great.
yeah, exactly. I think it's hugely sustainable. There's some really interesting kind of companies as well utilizing seaweeds, and like I think all seaweeds in the UK are also edible as well. It's kind of like there's a huge amount of potential in seaweeds, and again, a fascinating kind of like industry and kind of like plant to be sort of like to explore and find out how we can support as well.
So you guys are based in England, is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
And currently looking to expand around the world. I know we're in talks. Landsberg Aurora is in talks with you guys about possibly distributing in the USA. Is that the kind of the plan to work with other packaging companies around the world and distribute your product?
Very, very much. It's we ultimately we want to be a kind of like recognized brand within the packaging industry globally. And I know that's a big ask, and we've got a long way to go, but we hold the IP on the products globally, and we want to kind of work with distributors and organizations to be able to kind of make it accessible in different territories globally. So we're working with a number of distributors in the US, and I think we've got quite a focus on looking at potentially licensing and getting the product manufactured within the US and potentially Europe as well. So we kind of again is the next step for us to making it sort of keeping the supply chain simple, improving the sustainability of the product, and making sure we stick to our kind of like the strong sort of sustainable DNA that is running through the business, and constantly kind of like checking how we can kind of improve that from a production point of view and supply chain point of view.
I think you guys are like most of us in the packaging industry. You're having trouble keeping up with demand. Is that still the case?
Yeah, but I mean, very much so. Obviously kind of incredibly difficult as it is, with the global pandemic, which is sort of like been going on for, over the last year, and, disrupting and affecting so many businesses. And for us, we've been in an incredibly fortunate situation that as lockdowns kind of happen, we've seen kind of spikes in growth within the business and demand in the business, because, as lockdowns happen, obviously the demand on e-commerce is exaggerated, and so we are sort of one of obviously a number of businesses people are going to now to find sort of protective packaging which is sustainable, which they can send products out in. And I think to capitalize that, to add to that as well, we're working in the drink space, but there's so many other different kind of markets. We have potential in the product as well, from cosmetics through to electronics through to furniture. So yeah, some exciting kind of like opportunities, and I think as you say, that the demand is super high for the products. It's just making sure we have products available.
I bet. And so you guys are doing packaging for candles and other kinds of things too. Are you continuing to expand into new territories there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I said, it's sort of, I think that's what I'm most excited about is the potential and different sort of, I suppose, market verticals that Flexi can be applied. So we're working with a number of electronic companies. There's also sort of two product types within our business. So we have original kind of Flexi Hex product, but we also have this product called Flexi Hex Air, which we have a great partnership with a company called Seaman Paper, who manufacture tissue paper in the US, and they manufacture the Flexi Hex for us and distribute and sell that product. And the Air product is made from tissue paper. It's still a honeycomb sleeve, but it's a very lightweight sleeve, and again designed specifically for lighter gifting products and sort of fast-moving consumer goods such as cosmetics to electronics to smaller glass objects. Yeah, again for that e-commerce space, working in that sort of direct consumer.
That space has really blown up over the last year, like you said, and it's an amazing shift in the global way of doing things, the way of buying, the way of purchasing. You don't go to the store anymore and buy 20 things. You order 3 things online. So
no, I mean, it's to add to that, you're exactly right, and it's sort of again we've been the litmus paper to see that sort of change, and the shop front is now becoming the box you open up when you receive your delivery, and businesses know that. So that first impression of when you open your parcel up to see what that product is, it's fundamental for businesses that get that kind of right and that right user experience, and that's going to be the direct reflection on that business. So we're very much developing and looking at sort of how we kind of improve and enhance that consumer experience across a number of different sort of industries.
At Landsberg Aurora, we like to say it's the promise of what's inside. And I think that your packaging makes a really cool reveal. So well done.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. What's the best way for us to get a hold of you, Sam?
So the website is flexi hex.com, and from an email point of view, it's just sales@flexi-hex.com, and from the website you can see all the different markets we work in, and also the different products we sell.
Great. Well, thank you so much again for your time. It's been really cool and great to talk to you. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Landsberg Aurora, for their continued support. And please rate the episode and tell your friends about sustainable packaging with Cory Connors. Thank you so much, Sam.
Nice one. Thank you, Cory.